Which method up there uses crosshatching? Can you crosshatch in sculpture?
Yes.
Can you crosshatch in oil paint?
No.
Can you crosshatch in Photoshop?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Did Rembrandt crosshatch in Photoshop? Yes, he did.
Yes.
Yeah, they had computers back then. They had.
You don't need to.
Well, that's a tough one though, because Photoshop actually kind of needs a computer. It's just being cute. All right, guys. I think you all know the answer. The only logical answer is etching. Remember, who remembers what etching is? Lead. Scrape out, right, of what? Metal. Excellent. Yes, that was what Rembrandt was most famous for. And that's this one, the Adam and Eve, was an etching.
That was amazing.
So, we had also talked about the other method where you can use cross-hatching, something a little more modern, which was the only other logical answer up there, Photoshop. So I thought actually I could show you guys a little demo of this today.
Wait, using digital?
Yes.
You're lying.
Photoshop, I am not lying.
Oh my god. Do it. No, you make me so happy. I don't want you to get disappointed. The mouse?
It's over here. I got it on my tablet, on my laptop. Let's do a little demo. So, as you guys know, I didn't photograph the cast that you're working on. Here he is here. And I'm zooming in just on one head. And this was my pen and ink drawing that I had previously started. So you guys saw this, it's over there.
It's that amazing one.
So, right, this was just on a pen. So now, this is it's an old one, it's an Intuos. Intuos 2.
Wow.
I like the 4x5s. You really don't need anything much bigger, so it's not that expensive.
How much is that one?
Couple hundred, like 250 maybe, 300, something like that. But the big ones get really expensive.
How much was that one?
About 250 maybe, 300.
Wow.
Computer-wise, that's not that bad. So what I'm going to do is make a layer. I'm not going to go too much into the Photoshop-y end of it, because I really just want you to see me hatch. I picked the color here that would kind of match my ink from what I did already. So it's sort of a bluish black. This color right over here. You can see it. And I like to use, I've got a very small brush. This is a 2-pixel brush. And it's on a multiply setting. What that means is every time I go over it, it's going to get a little bit darker as you work it. So instead of thin and thick, I'm getting transparency. So that's another way to do it, and that's just a personal feeling. That's just, it's like your handwriting. You get used to it, it becomes you. And I'm also doing it a little transparently. I'm working about at 30%. If I want to go dark quicker, I might take this to like 80% or even 100%. All depends on the feel. But when I'm starting really light, I don't know where I'm going, I like to build it up very gradually. And you can do that with this stuff as well. With the Crow Quill you can do it. You can do it with the ballpoint pen. The pigment markers, if you work really thin and gradually get thicker, it'll have that same effect as well. So what I'm going to do, see on this guy, I made a layer here. I'm looking very closely at that eyebrow. And that's just the dark part. And you can see I've got a little light underneath here. So how do I make that light? Well, I'm going to make it dark next to it. Down here it's darker than this light, so I have to save that light. I'm keeping my strokes relatively small. This gives me more control. Look how round that eye feels. And I'm gonna try to get to very gradually go from this dark here. And this is actually really pretty dark over here. And this is pretty dark. And this is pretty dark. Even though this is a white cast, I think that's something that's throwing you guys. Your ink is black. And you know you're painting, you've got to render this white form over here. You've got to not think of it as color. You're really just creating form. So it's these deep shadows that you want to go for if you think of your darkness. I mean, it would make a difference if, let's say, that was a black cast. You would probably do a lot more hatching to get the actual feel of it. But you gotta not let color sort of confuse you. You're just thinking the dimensions and the shadows. Don't think it's white or it's red or it's green. And you're looking at everything. You're not simply coloring it in. I think some of you guys are thinking this. The days of coloring books are over. This is like serious drawing time. Whenever you're rendering, you are looking at every little molecule that's on that surface. If you change your seat, you're changing what you see. What I begin to render, this cheek and this eye, will not match what I've previously drawn. Every little pixel, that's another way of what you see, you have to render. Take a look here. This is the shadow shape of this nose. I'm literally going to draw that. So once I start building in the dark, it'll give me more of a feel of the range of where I need to go in the value scale. So my lights won't feel so heavy because I've got a dark balancing it out. Start building that nose up. And you can see it's starting to feel pretty much like what I did with the pen. I mean, every material is a little different, so I think I'm going much subtler with the Photoshop than I did with the pen. I'm going to draw this crack. Look at how this crack actually works. Really study it. I'm drawing a few lines. I'm not drawing the entire line of the crack. There's breaks in it. At points I don't see it so much. It's not an even single line. It's a little darker here. Pieces of it have emphasis. And then it's kind of light at these edges of it. You guys get the idea? It's the exact same thing you're going to do with your pen. I have one other really cool thing to show you. Remember the Holbein?
Yeah.
The one that you have an essay due today.
What?
I know. Theoretically, you had an essay due today. You can hand it in on Monday. You won't lose points for it being in on Monday. However, Monday is it. There is no after Monday. That's 30 points off on your grade. That's 1/3 off if that essay's not here Monday. So this is the last of it. This is the drop dead date, as we call it. But what I want to show you on this, remember we talked about the skull?
Yeah. Well, some of you did that too.
Oh, I didn't do it. But we talked about, wouldn't it be, how would we get that skull if Holbein had Photoshop? Maybe he would have just squished it in position.
Maybe.
They had just developed, lenses at that time. So I think he actually looked through a lens, saw the distortion, and drew it. So, how accurate is it? If I take this and distort it back, would I get a real skull out of it? Or would it look normal? What do you think? How
Wait,
good
are
a
you
job
gonna
did
try
he
the
do?
same thing?
Yeah. I'm going to undo what he did. Call that backward engineering.
Yeah, how do you crop?
So let's take a look. So let's see hands. Who thinks it's going to be a good skull? Who thinks I can make this look like a realistic?
Oh, I know you can do this.
You all think so? Who thinks Holbein screwed up and he faked it?
Oh.
Byron. Okay, let's see. Check this out, guys. I'm going to do a rough selection on the skull. I'm going to make a layer out of it. Okay, so now I have an additional copy of it. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to go into transform. This brings up a box where I can do sort of anything I want to the skull. Stretch it. But instead, I'm gonna start transforming it this way.
Holy crap. Oh my god!
Wow.
Rembrandt did not do that.
Rembrandt did not do this. Holbein did it. Look at that, guys. It's not too shabby, is it?
Hell no. Oh my God.
So you can see look what happened to the to the carpet, to the floor. It's now skewed. The skull is straight.
So then he has. Oh my God, that's amazing.
When he was looking through a lens that distorted it, and he drew what he saw very realistically and accurately.
No, wait. Since it was so distorted and he drew it that way, like for you to just reform it and it still looks like a sculptor. Oh my God.
That's how accurately he drew it.
That is cool. That's how accurate.
What do we call this? What was that vocabulary word?
Anamorphosis.
Excellent, you guys. I should have put that on the test. Too bad.
That is amazing. It's like for him to. I bet you he didn't even know that's how it looked like when he before.
He probably didn't know how right he was, but I bet he had a good sense.
But if he saw that's how right he was, he's like, oh, I'm so right.
I bet he did. All right, guys.
I guess that's when he's a master artist.
We're gonna start drawing now, okay? And I want to see some totally cool hatching. Let's go. I know you look so comfy down there. Come on, back to work.
That is amazing.